California Governor Gavin Newsom has announced plans to sue President Donald Trump over the tariffs imposed in April. Newsom argues that these tariffs negatively impact the state's economy and unfairly burden its residents. The lawsuit aims to challenge the legality of the tariffs and their repercussions on California's economy. This move underscores ongoing tensions between state leaders and the federal government regarding trade policies. Newsom claims the tariffs represent the largest tax hike of our lifetime. California Attorney General Rob Bonta joined the lawsuit. He called the implementation of the tariffs chaotic and haphazard. The lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California. It seeks to have the tariffs declared void. This legal challenge is the latest development in an ongoing battle between California and the Trump administration. California has frequently opposed the Trump administration's policies on issues like immigration and environmental protection. This lawsuit signals an escalation in the fight over trade policy. President Trump has defended the tariffs as necessary to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. He argues that other countries have taken advantage of the United States in trade deals. The tariffs are a key part of Trump's America First economic agenda. He has shown no willingness to back down from his use of tariffs as a trade weapon. The lawsuit filed by California presents a significant legal challenge to the Trump administration's trade policies. The outcome of the case could have far-reaching implications for the U.S. economy and the future of trade relations. It is a high-stakes battle with billions of dollars and the economic well-being of California on the line. In a related development, Harvard University has instructed its researchers to halt hiring due to the Trump administration's decision to freeze over $2 billion in federal funding intended for the university. This development raises concerns about the impact on research initiatives and funding stability, as reported by the Boston Globe. Former President Barack Obama has sharply criticized Donald Trump in a recent statement, calling out the current administration over a $2.3 billion controversy related to Harvard University. Obama labeled Trump's actions as un-American, intensifying the political discourse as tensions rise ahead of upcoming elections. This commentary highlights significant concerns surrounding governance and educational funding, further engaging the public in key political issues. California's economy is feeling the heat from President Trump's trade war. The state is a global trade powerhouse. It engages in nearly $675 billion in two-way trade each year. The tariffs imposed by the Trump administration have hit California businesses and consumers hard. The tariffs have increased the cost of imported goods, from cars to electronics to food. These higher costs are being passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. This has put a strain on household budgets and slowed economic growth. Businesses are also feeling the pain. Many companies rely on imported goods for their operations. The tariffs have made these goods more expensive, cutting into profits and forcing some businesses to raise prices or even lay off workers. The agricultural sector has been particularly hard hit. California is a major exporter of agricultural products. Retaliatory tariffs imposed by other countries in response to Trump's policies have closed off important markets for California farmers. This has led to a surplus of certain crops, driving down prices and hurting farm incomes. The tariffs are having a ripple effect throughout California's economy. As businesses and consumers cut back on spending, economic activity is slowing. This is leading to job losses and a decline in state revenue. The tariffs are a major drag on California's economy, threatening to undermine years of economic growth. California's lawsuit against the Trump administration centers on the legality of the tariffs. The lawsuit argues that President Trump exceeded his authority in imposing the tariffs. The administration relied on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA, to justify the tariffs. IEPA grants the president broad powers to act in the face of a national emergency. However, California argues that the Trump administration's use of IEPA to impose tariffs is a misapplication of the law. The lawsuit contends that there is no national emergency that justifies the use of IEPA to impose tariffs. It argues that the trade deficit, cited by the Trump administration as justification for the tariffs, does not constitute a national emergency under the law. California also argues that the tariffs are harmful to the U.S. economy, not beneficial as the Trump administration claims. The lawsuit points to the economic harm caused by the tariffs as evidence that they are not in the national interest. It argues that the tariffs are hurting American businesses and consumers, not protecting them. The lawsuit seeks to have the tariffs declared unlawful and to prevent the Trump administration from imposing further tariffs using IEEPA. The legal battle over the tariffs is likely to be protracted and contentious. It is a test of the limits of presidential power in the realm of trade policy. The outcome of the case could have significant implications for the balance of power between the executive and legislative branches in setting trade policy. This development raises concerns about the impact on research initiatives and funding stability, as reported by the Boston Globe. This commentary highlights significant concerns surrounding governance and educational funding, further engaging the public in key political issues. The trade war ignited by President Trump's tariffs has exposed deep divisions within the United States. The tariffs have pitted states against each other and against the federal government. California's lawsuit is the most dramatic example of this tension, but it is not the only one. Several other states, including New York and Illinois, have challenged the tariffs in court. These states argue that the tariffs are harming their economies and exceeding the president's authority. The tariffs have also created divisions within the business community. Some industries, such as steel and aluminum, have benefited from the tariffs. However, many other industries have been hurt by the tariffs and have spoken out against them. The tariffs have become a partisan issue, with Democrats generally opposed and Republicans generally supportive. This partisan divide has made it difficult to find common ground on trade policy. The trade war has also strained relations between the United States and its trading partners. China, Canada, Mexico, and the European Union have all retaliated against U.S. tariffs with tariffs of their own. This tit-for-tat escalation of tariffs has hurt businesses and consumers on both sides of the Pacific and the Atlantic. The trade war has created uncertainty in the global economy, making it more difficult for businesses to plan for the future. The tariffs are a symptom of a larger trend of rising protectionism around the world. This trend threatens to undermine the rules-based trading system that has underpinned global economic growth for decades.